All right, it's time to dive into level 2 graphing. What makes level 2 graphing different from level 1 is in level 1, all the lines were in the form y equals mx plus b. In level 2, they are not in that form. Like, they look different. And usually the way to graph those is to make it look like this and then graph. So let's look at number 1. So this one is not in that format, but you can make it just by doing a little bit of solving. You just get y all by itself. So I got an x here. I'm going to subtract it off. And now I got y equals negative 5 minus x, or if you rearrange it, y equals negative x minus 5. Either's fine. I'm going to be putting it in this form because I'm lazy and don't want to change the order. Remember, the number not with x is your y-intercept, and then the number with x is your slope. So there's no number with x right now, so the number there is going to be 1. And since it's an integer, it's going to be over 1, like that. So we got, here's my two numbers I'm going to be using to graph it. The y-intercept is negative 5, so go to my coordinate grid here, and I go to my y-axis. That's the vertical one. Don't put dots on the horizontal one with your y-intercept, just the vertical one. So you go to negative 5, and then your slope is negative 1 over 1, so I'm going to go down and right. All negative slopes go down right, all positive slopes go up right. So I'm going to go down and right 1. I kind of ran out of room. I want some more points, so I'm going to go up and left. So I can go up, left, which is the same as down and right, as far as slopes are concerned. So there we go. We got our line and connect it up. Okay, let's look at number 2. This one, again, is not solved for y. We got to get this guy all by itself. So subtract the x part off. Subtract 3x, subtract 3x. Make sure you remember it still had the subtract 2y, so it's negative 2y. So now I got this 4 minus 3x on the right side. I'm going to divide everything by the number in front of y, and make sure you divide everything by that. 4 divided by negative 2 is going to be a negative 2. Easy peasy. But negative 3 divided by negative 2, that does not go evenly. And that's okay. We have a thing for what we do when we can't go evenly. We call it a fraction. So I'm going to put 3 over 2. 3 halves is what 3 divided by 2 is. And I need to make sure I get my sign right here. A negative divided by negative is a positive. So here I've made it so it's in the right format. It's y equals everything else. This is my y-intercept, and this is going to be my slope. So I go to my y-axis here and go to negative 2. Put a dot there. And I have a slope of 3 halves. So I go up 3, right 2, up 3, right 2. Or you can go down 3, left 2. And voila, you got a lovely line here looking like that. Okay, let's go to 3. This one also doesn't say y equals. I need to make it. So I'm going to subtract some x. Now I got 3y equals 12 minus x. I'm going to divide everything by 3. Make sure you divide all the terms by it. And now I got y equals 12 divided by 3 is 4. Once again, this x doesn't have a number in front of it. So you can put 1 there. It's 1. 1 divided by 3 is called 1/3. 1 divided by 3, 1/3. X, and it was just a single negative there, so we're going to have subtract still. Y-intercept is 4, and slope is negative 1/3. So I go to my y-axis on 4, put a dot, and a slope of negative 1/3 is going to be down 1, right 3. Down 1, right 3, or you can go up and left to get other points like that. And now I can connect my line and make it good. If you want, you can use a straight edge to make it straight there, like a ruler. Okay, so now we're going to look at some of the other ones. If it just says y equals a number, it is a horizontal line at this height. And so this graph really is, I go to my y-axis here at 3. It says all the y's are 3. Let me draw that a little bit better. I'm going to go just put a line there, right on 3. If it was something like y equals 11, I would go up to 11 and put a horizontal line. Or if it's y equals negative 5, I would come down to negative 5 and draw a horizontal line. Y equals is a horizontal line. If it said something like x equals, like 2, then that would make a vertical line looking like that. So that's a thing to remember. Y equals is horizontal, x equals is vertical. And you just go to that x value. If it's x equals, you draw a vertical line. Or you go to the y value and you draw a horizontal line if it's y equals. Okay, let's go to 5. We need to, again, solve for y. Let's get y all by itself. Don't forget it had a negative in front of it, or subtract y, so we got negative y. Now we got negative 2 minus x. there is a number here, and the number is 1. So you're going to have to divide everything by -1. When you divide by -1, it changes signs. So I got -2 divided by -1 is +2. And this x didn't have a number in front of it, so it's also a 1. So -1 divided by -1. Negative divided by negative is positive. And it's 1x. And since it's just 1, you can put it over 1 like that. So we have a y-intercept of 2. And I have a slope of 1 over 1. That's positive, means it goes up, right? So I can go up, 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 up. And we could go down, left, down, left. Put a whole bunch of points here so you can see them. And then I'm going to connect those up, and voila, there's my line. And now let's jump to our last one here. We've got to just solve for y again. Let's subtract the 2x, subtract 2x. Don't forget this had a negative in front of it, so keep the sign there. We got -5y equals 20 minus 2x. And then you have to divide everything by that -5. And now we got y is 20 divided by -5 is -4. And then -2 divided by -5 is positive. Negative divided by negative is positive. And 2 divided by 5 is called 2/5. So now we got this. My y-intercept is -4. So I come down here to -4. And then my slope here is 2/5, which means I'm going to go up to right 5. Up to right 5. Or I could go down to left 5 to get a point. And now I got my points, and I can connect it up and make a beautiful line looking like that. There's a couple other things to remember for level 2 is that there are things called inequalities. And you do them the exact same as the lines, except it's just how you graph. You're still going to solve for y. You're still going to put all your points down. You put your y-intercept down, use the slope to get other points. The only part that changes is right at the end. So I'm going to subtract some 2x. This 5 was positive, so I can keep it positive. 5y greater than or equal to -15 minus 2x. And I have to divide everything by 5. Be very careful. If you divide by a negative, then this inequality needs to flip. We divided by a +5, so it's going to stay the same. So keep that there. Now we got -3 and then minus 2/5. My y-intercept is -3, so I come down to -3 on my y-axis. And then my slope is negative again, so I'm going to go down and to the right, so down to right 5. And it puts me here, or I can go up to left 5, get a point there. And this is where things change. So you still get all those points, but then you're going to look at this. If it says just greater than or less than, that is going to be, these are the dashed options, or dotted. If it says or equal to on it, then it's solid. So this one says or equal to, so we're just going to connect it with a solid line like we normally do. Like that. And then we also need to do a little bit of shading. If it says greater than or greater than or equal to, this is shade above. And then if it says less than or equal to, that is shade below. So I'm going to shade above on this one because it says greater than, which is going to be on this side. So I like to just draw lines like this. But if you want to squiggle, you can squiggle. That's cool too. Okay, let's move on to our last one. Again, we need to get y all by itself. So subtract the 7x, subtract 7x. It was subtract 2y, so I'm going to have -2y on my left side here. I got greater than 8 minus 7x. I need to get rid of this -2, so I'm going to just divide everything by -2. Divide by, sorry, that's bad. Divide by -2. This looks a little weird there. So now I got y, and I got -4, and I got positive 7/2. Remember, 7 divided by 2 is 7/2. Since I divided by a negative, my inequality here needs to flip around. So I'm going to do less than now. And now we're going to do some graphing. My y-intercept is -4. And then my slope is positive 7/2. So I'm going to go up 7 and then right 2. So up 7, right 2. Here's my point. So now I have to look at my inequality here. It says just less than. So I am not going to have a solid line. I'm going to have a dashed line. So dash, 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 like that. I'm going to put my ends on it, put some arrows on the end. And then I also need to shade below because it says less than. If you're wondering what side is below, you just have to think of like diagonally. Which side, if you were to go away from the line, makes you go up or down? If I go straight off from that one's going up. If I go straight this way, that one's going down. So this is my less than side. So there's going to have my shading. And there you go. That's how you do level 2 graphing.